Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing one of the most significant models from one of the most significant modern independent brands. This is the Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon 30 degree. Launched in 2004, it was the first product launched by Robert Greubel and Stephen Forsey under their own names. It was a horological revelation and a revolution all at once, a timepiece that was daring in ways few had attempted before. We're going to talk about all of that in a moment, but we're going to talk about the fit first because this is a large watch and it did debut at the beginning of the bigger is better era. That said, it's one of the most wearable Greubel Forseys at 43.5 millimeters in diameter with sharply downturned lugs. The case is 15.9 millimeters thick, so it's not thin by any means, and at 52 millimeters lug-to-lug does have quite a wingspan. It has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, so the lug spacing is proportional to the rest of the watch. It doesn't have the pencil neck appearance that can sometimes be created by narrow lugs on a big watch. And yet on my smallish 16 centimeter circumference wrist, this rather large watch wears well. They would get bigger with time and more complex, but this one was relatively wearable. You can see I've got some clearance on either side. You can see over the top the lugs are out to the edge of my wrist but not over, and the cuff shot confirms that you'll fit underneath a jacket sleeve but probably not a shirt. This watch will work well on wrists as small as 16 centimeters in circumference like mine. The strap here is a brand new Greubel Forsey factory strap. It's calfskin on the bottom. It is large rectangular scale alligator leather and light brown on the top. It has some stuffing or bolstering to give it volume, a monotone stitch. It has a folded edge, and then we wind up with a lovely buckle that matches the case. Rose gold buckle, double folding, as you can see, Greubel Forsey branded, all of high polish with the exception of that exquisitely hand-engraved Greubel Forsey logo on a satinated cap. That's a good-looking flourish on a watch that is full of them. Another good-looking flourish, and this one I've often described as the mustard or the ketchup, depending on your condiment preference. All around the edge of the watch, you have this mustard strip. No, I just kid. What it is a sine wave designed to be suggestive of what's going on within the oscillator that defines this watch. Now, we have a combination of a chiseled profile along with satin and polish in the case band, which is remarkably intricate and sophisticated. The lug profiles are also more nuanced than you might think, as they have an inward inflection and a concave profile that kicks out at the tips. The bezel is domed, but it has a flange that abuts the sapphire crystal, and you can see we have a Greubel Forsey branded crown right here. The dial, as you can see, has a silver opaline finish with cutaways for the power reserve, which is 72 hours. And then we have a constant seconds display, although truth be told, we actually have two 1-minute periods here. One is the seconds display, the other is the inner of the two tourbillon regulators. Before we jump into that, let's take a quick look at the dial. You can see we have blued screws, we have black polished caps to the two subsidiary displays, the constant seconds as well as the power reserve. We have a black polished cannon pinion, and the hands for the hours and minutes are black polished at their center, applied rose gold numerals, logo, and indices. We have a flange outboard that acts as a sort of rehaut to give a little extra depth to the dial, and of course we have these fire blued fixing screws that keep the dial attached to the movement below. Now we have two tourbillon regulators. The inner one makes 1-minute circuits, so 1 rotation per minute. The outer one makes 1 rotation every 4 minutes. That is why it's called the double tourbillon, and because the inner tourbillon is angled at 30 degrees, it is the double tourbillon 30 degree. Now you can also see that inner tourbillon features inner and outer curves on the hairspring so that it breathes concentrically in any physical orientation with respect to gravity. It is also 6-position adjusted, which is the top industry standard, and free sprung for durability and precision adjustment. Now, because it's inside a 4-minute tourbillon, we have two tourbillon regulators. They are not coaxial, though. The 4-minute has this 4-spoke serpentine that acts as a sort of 60-second display alongside the radial 60-second. We have the scrolling crescent-shaped 60-second display representing 1/4 of the period of that inner tourbillon. Now, because the or I should say the outer tourbillon. The inner tourbillon, because it's always angled, and you can see quite well right here that it is angled, it's going to be turning at an angle with respect to gravity, the way a pocket watch would. So when this watch is on your dresser at night, you still get the benefit of gravitational equalization, with the speeding up and the slowing down occurring cyclically so as to cancel each other out. So you do get the advantages of a pocket watch tourbillon in this wristwatch tourbillon format. Taking a quick look at other flourishes, the power reserve indicator on the dial is made of solid gold and then lacquered with the scales. We have a bridge for the tourbillon cage. Take a look at that bridge. It is magnificent, with polished pillars on each side, completely rounded over the top and black polished, one of the most extensive uses of black polish I've seen on a movement, and incredibly difficult to achieve by hand. You can see there are sharp interior angles where the bridge meets the center and where the bridge meets the edge, and then the tourbillon cage itself has also been immaculately finished with satination and polish. Screw heads are black polished, and their slots and circumference have been chamfered. You can see we have both fired blued screws and black polished screws. The underside of the tourbillon is as ornately finished as the top. You get a better sense of the tourbillon cage from the bottom. You can see that we have bridges made of Mosso, which is a nickel copper zinc alloy that would be called German silver in a German watch. And we have a combination of satination on the base plate, and then the bridges feature a frosted finish that's executed using a stiff bristled wire brush. The interior of the wheels have been beveled, so the inner circumference, the wheel as well as the spokes, have been beveled. Very difficult to do. Many Geneva hallmark movements don't even bother with that. You can see the mainspring barrels and their arbors fixed by golden chaton, which is a nod to the pocket watch era and how jewels used to be set in the 18th and 19th century. You can see that the beveling or anglage on the edge of the bridge, world class here. It is truly rounded, hand executed, broad, and flawless. It's a 39 jewel movement. It beats sway at 21,600 vibrations per hour. Constructed entirely by Greubel Forsey. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of the first Greubel Forsey wristwatch.